Let's look at 3 unrealistic expectations from your partner.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Before we get started, I would not be talking about all women, even though it feels like it. And if it feels like I'm talking about you, you need to check yourself, because I'm only talking about bad women that do bad things to good guys, and I teach the good guys how to spot the bad women.
Nigga, what?
Also, you have to understand words only hurt whenever they're true. So a lot of you guys don't take it personal whenever I say things about men as well. You're looking for the music to the intro and you want the link to the second channel, both are below in the description. But can you do me a favor, hit the notifications button right now. All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about a woman's unrealistic expectations in a relationship that ruins relationships that men are refusing to settle for. Men are refusing to try to live up to these unrealistic standards of a woman. So a lot of women nowadays, they only have one option of a man, and that's going to be a simp.
Damn, you looking good today.
Most women are left to only date the type of guy that they do not like, because that's the only type of guy that's going to do the things that I'm going to name in this video. Now, a lot of you guys out there, you're still going to be able to get women. You're still going to be able to go on dates, but you're just not going to want to marry them. But women ultimately want to live out the fairy tale. So you're going to find a lot more women that are going to be in relationships with simps, but they're going to be real adamant about cheating. All right, with no further ado, let's get to it.
They can't be attracted to someone else.
First, women expect to never argue. All right, that's one of the big expectations that guys are not paying attention to. It's always her way or the highway. So in relationships now, women don't want to argue because they are afraid of the truth coming up. Once the truth comes up, women don't really like to accept accountability. So they have a tendency nowadays to run away from accountability. So they have to end up with a weaker man. And you would notice this. You would notice women that get in relationships after the age of 30 are typically going to be in a relationship with a weak man that's weaker than the guys that she rejected in her 20s. So understand that right now. The older she gets, the more she's going to want these expectations to actually be lived out, which means she never wants to argue. It's her way or the highway.
They must meet every single one of your needs.
Next, she needs a man that always thinks she's perfect, that always talks to her like she's perfect, that always tells her what she wants to hear and that she's doing nothing wrong. The only person that could do that is going to be a simp, because a simp places a woman's emotion above logic. There is a big difference between a simp and a beta. A beta male will leave the relationship even though he was the submissive one. It's the simp that's always placing her emotions above logic, and he's always doing what he has to do to make sure that the relationship doesn't end. That's a simp, a man who relinquishes all his power for her. And that's what women want. Women want the guy that's going to do that, because once he releases his power, then she becomes his God. The moment she becomes his God is the moment that he's going to just tell her everything that she want to hear, so he doesn't go anywhere. He pretty much volunteers to be her servant. Next, she's going to expect a man to give up everything for her whenever she wants it. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means she's going to come before mom. She's going to come before your friends. She's going to come before everything. If you're on the phone talking to somebody and she calls, you're supposed to click over. You're supposed to do whatever she wants to do, and she has to become first. You have to make her the God. Why? Because she's suffering inside. You have to understand. A woman looks at celebrities. She looks at the Kardashians and she sees all these people and she says, I want a man to treat me like that. I want the lifestyle that they have. But even Kim Kardashian cannot get a high value man. After dealing with Kanye, she had to go back down to Pete, which is a drug addict comedian. Everybody knows of this already. So she had to lower her standards. Why? Because that's going to be the only type of guy that's going to keep putting her on a pedestal, who will relinquish all of his power in order to make her happy. You're seeing Kim Kardashian go through that right now. Although it looks like Kanye is simping, if you ask me, throughout the relationship, Kanye always looked like he was running the relationship. So you have to understand, with a woman, she's going to be expecting a man to give up all his power, as well as his family, as well as his friends, and as well as anything else that he loves.
Expectation that they should just know what's going on inside your head without you actually communicating what's going on.
Next, she's going to expect you to read her mind so she can leverage it like something's wrong when it's not. That's going to be something that's going to aggravate a man the most, is when she's always having these mood swings, but she can never explain her mood swings. She can never tell you why she's angry. She can never tell you why she's mad. All she's trying to do is get you to read her mind and try to guess what's going on, but you don't even know what's going on because she don't know what's going on. All she wanted was some attention. That's what guys have to realize now. You're never going to be able to read her mind. And that's where a lot of men fail when it comes to women. You're trying too hard to overanalyze everything that's coming out of their mouth, what they saying, what they doing, where they going, where they walking, how they moving, what motion they in, what mood they in today, what makes them happy, what makes them smile. The longer you're with that woman, the more you're going to be confused, because you're going to trauma bond to her, which means that she's going to turn into the person that you do not like the most, but you're going to find yourself having a hard time getting out the relationship, which is why a lot of men nowadays, they don't even want to go through that. It's either we're in the bed or we're not. Next, she's going to want you responsible for her happiness. What do I mean by that? That means by when she is having an attitude, you're going to always be the one to blame. Whenever she's having a bad day, she's going to pull something out that you did, that you said, that you did this. It's going to always turn around on your fault, even when it's a situation that did not even pertain to you, and she's going to be expecting you to go through that. That's why I keep trying to tell you guys, she's going to end up with a simp. She can only date a simp. They can only date a weak man nowadays. They cannot be with a man that has common sense. The guy that has common sense is only good for the bedroom now. That's just where life is at. We're individually thinking now. We're on an individual scale, which means everybody has their own independence. There's really no need for a family, and there's really no need for marriage nowadays. But women still want the fairy tale. They still want to feel like that princess because they keep seeing it over and over and over again the more they look at the phone. The only way to break that cycle is for her to get off the phone. As long as she's on the phone, a man is going to have to always relinquish his power, read her mind, and understand that whenever she's in a bad mood, he's going to always be the one to blame, and he has to accept it. Next, when it's all said and done, the woman's going to be expecting a man to apologize for no reason. What do I mean by apologizing for no reason? All these times where you're trying to figure out like, hey, what's wrong with you? What's going on? And then she turns around and she puts the blame on you all over again. Then you're like, hey, that ain't have nothing to do with me. Then she brings up another situation. She gonna find a way to make it your problem whenever she's unhappy. And then whenever she is happy, she wants you to be responsible for her being happy. But one thing you have to understand about these type of women, the moment you start to become happy, she's gonna start bringing you down. That's what most women are gonna do now. They don't want the man to be happy. They just want the man to be a servant to her, constantly placing her up on a pedestal because she's suffering from insecurity of feminism and desperation. What do I mean? The feminism part of her still hates men, but the desperation says, I still need a man in my life because I don't want to be lonely. So what you're doing is, most of these guys, you're going through her mood swing phase. Chances are, everything that I just named to you right now is the biggest reason why most of these women are going to end up lonely, because guys are not going for it. And I'm going to say it for the 1,000th time. You got to always think about Miss America, a beautiful girl that had everything in life that she wanted, but still couldn't take the pressure. This is Anthony Spade. Hopefully you guys are able to get the message behind the video. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels. Do me a favor, hit the notifications button right now.